This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/PsycheTruth.
Hi, my name is Kelsy with Naiana Yoga, and today we're doing Baby and Me Yoga for the 4th trimester. The 4th trimester is that period right after you have your baby from 1 to 3 months where you're still recovering, you're trying to rebuild the pelvic floor. And actually, that's what this sequence is aimed to do. We're rebuilding the pelvic floor, we're strengthening the core, which includes the abs and the back. And then we're also stretching the neck and opening the shoulders and the chest. If you watch my prenatal yoga videos, this is the product of that. Her name is Vivia Lotus, and she's about 8 weeks old. So she's going to be helping me do this routine today. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration. So let's go ahead and you can hold your baby against your chest. And we're just going to sway from side to side, which you're probably familiar with as a parent. This is just loosening up the back and the hips. And then when you're done swaying, we're going to pause, make sure that your feet are pointed straight ahead. The toes are straight ahead. The outer edges of your feet are parallel with the outer edges of the mat. You're going to take the navel back toward the spine, and then you're rotating to look over your shoulder. Inhale at the center, and then exhale as you twist. And then from here, you want to grab a block or maybe I was going to say a thick book, but I don't know if many of you have books that are this thick. You do want something that's going to hold your knees to about hip width apart in order to engage the adductors. The adductors are a group of about 5 muscles that help to stabilize the pelvis, and that's what's going to help to rebuild the pelvic floor. So you want to put that in between your legs. You're squeezing that block with your thighs. And then you're lifting your heels all the way up, and then we're going to take them down. So not only are we engaging the adductors, but we're also working the calves. And with that extra weight, with the baby, we're definitely enhancing this workout for the calves. So we're going to go up about 20 times. Up, down. You have about 10 more. So up, down, try to lift all the way up toward the ceiling. You're also lengthening through the back. Keep your navel engaged back towards the spine. You have about 5 more. And this time, stay elevated. You're going to bend the knees, and then we're pulsing. So we're doing about 20 pulses. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And this is nice for the baby too, because she gets bounced. All right, from here, we're going to go all the way down to the ground. So go ahead and put your block to the side. And then you're holding your baby, using that as a little bit of an arm workout. So we're going to stay about hip width apart. Once you have your feet about hip width apart, you can grab your baby underneath her arms. And we're getting a little bit of an arm workout here. So go ahead and lift your baby up. And if she's awake, you can say hi. And then slowly start to round the spine and then come all the way down. It's nice to hold the baby in that traditional cradle pose so that you have an arm in between her legs. And that way she's a little bit more stable. From here, we can start to use her weight to help you lengthen the backs of your legs. So go ahead and rock the baby. And you're holding her in the cradle hold, so you have one arm in between her legs, the other one supporting her head and neck. You're lengthening through the backs of the legs, and then when you're ready, You can start to rotate her to put her down on her blanket. From here, we're gonna go into downward facing dog, and you're gonna do that right over her so she can see your eyes. So we'll step out into downward facing dog. And then you can start to come down and go into child's pose or balasana. And this is when you can interact with your baby a little bit, tickle her, give her a kiss. Yeah. Mwah. And then from here, we're going to go into dolphin pose. So you are going to interlace your fingers above the baby's head. You're pressing onto your elbows, your forearms, and then flip your toes under. And then you can start to take the hips back. So you're doing the dolphin pose. And then from here, we're going to go forward over the baby, and then back, forward, and then back, forward. And from here, you can walk your feet up if you need to. We're gonna hold it. Try to hold for about a minute. If you need to, you can always lower down to the knees and then pick right back up. Hi. My hair's tickling her. Hi. Forearm plank, and any plank really, is a really good thing to start doing right after you have your baby to get your core back, as opposed to doing crunches or the full sit-ups where your stomach starts bulging, because if you have diastasis, that can make it even worse. Plank is a great way to rebuild your core. From here, go ahead and come down to the knees. We'll rest in child's pose. And then we're gonna come right back into dolphin pose. Interlace your fingers around the baby's head. Flip the toes under, and then press back. And then come forward into our forearm plank. Hi. Keep the feet about hip width apart, and then you can do circles. Come down to the knees, and then move the knees forward, widen them, and come back into child's pose or balasana. So once you're in balasana, you can take this as an opportunity to interact with your baby a little bit more. You can pick her up, give her kisses, just rest a little bit. Yeah, hi. So your baby at this age just loves to stare at their parents. And actually the vision is, right now at this age, is set to be about the same distance from your face to where they're nursing. They can't see beyond that. So it's a really good, this is a really good time and place to be interacting with your baby. So once you're ready, you can come up to tabletop position, and you're gonna have your wrists right underneath your shoulders. The knees will be right underneath the hips. You're gonna flip your toes under, and then we're lifting up about an inch or two off the ground. So again, we're engaging the abs, the core, in a way that's beneficial without the detriment to diastasis if you are doing a crunch. If you'd like, you can even start to lift one foot off the ground, alternating one at a time. So you're gonna do the right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, and then start to do mini circles. Maybe do 3 in each direction. And then go ahead and release down to the mat, and we'll come back into child's pose. Kissing your baby. Mwah. Hi. Yeah. Let's come back into the tabletop position, and we're gonna do a modified side plank. So what that means is we're rotating so that we're resting on one knee, and you have one arm underneath the shoulder. Now you're lifting up the opposite leg to about hip height if you can. Then you're taking the other arm overhead. From here, we're trying to keep the leg even higher, and then we'll do some pulses. Let's do about 10 pulses. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then rotate back down to your mat, and then we'll go to the other side. So I'm just going to reverse direction here. Hi, hi. You see your mommy? So start to rotate. So now you have the opposite knee underneath your hip. The other arm is right, or hand is right underneath your shoulder. And then take the leg up to about hip height. The arm is overhead, and then we're pulsing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then rotate back down. Now let's go ahead and lay down right next to your baby. We're going to do a forearm plank. So you're going to have your feet stacked, one on top of the other. And they're going to be, I'm just going to scoot the baby up a little bit so I'm right on the mat. You want to be on the mat so you don't slip out. And you have the feet stacked one on top of the other. And your elbow is right underneath your shoulder. From here, you're lifting up. And we're just going to come up and down 3 times. So lower, lift, lower, lift, and now hold. Hi. And then go ahead and lower all the way down. And we're going to go to the other side. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. So you're going to come back onto your forearm on the other side. The feet are stacked. Make sure you have both feet on your mat. Hi, hi, hi. Mommy's right here. And then we're going to lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, and we're going to hold. And then go ahead and lower all the way down. And then from here, we're also going to be working on rebuilding that lower back. We put a lot of strain on our backs when we're pregnant, and Salabhasana, our locust pose, is a great way to rebuild the strength. So go ahead and move your baby so that she can see you. You're going to lay flat on your belly. And then the arms are going to hover over the baby. So one at a time, you can take one arm out and then the other arm. And see if you can lift that arm even higher with the opposite leg. And then down, lift. And then down, lift. And then down, lift. And then down. And then see if you can take both arms, both legs out. And then we'll pulse. After you're finished holding in Salabhasana or in the locust pose, then you can relax down. We're going to scoot the baby away a little bit because we're going to need some room to rock. And we're going to come into Dhanurasana or bow pose. So what that means is you can either grab the tops of your feet, and if you have a difficult time reaching both feet, then you can use your strap to do the same thing. So you loop the strap over both feet, and then you can start to come up. So I'm going to grab both feet. This will be fun for the baby to see you rocking. And then you press your hips, your pelvis into the mat as you lift the feet and the head up toward the ceiling. You can pause here for a moment. Try to keep your knees in. And then you can start to rock. Sometimes it helps to have a little bit of cushioning underneath your hips. So if you'd like that, you can roll the mat over or put a blanket underneath. Hi. And then go ahead and release all the way down. And from here, we're going to cross the ankles and we're going to sit back. Okay, so now go ahead and come up onto your knees. We're going to do our tabletop position. So you can move the baby so she's right underneath you. And we're going to go into cat-cow. So we're loosening up the back, stretching in the opposite way that we just did for Dhanurasana. So you're pressing the palms into the mat. You've got your knees on the mat right underneath your hips. And then you're rounding the spine. And then go ahead and look up at the ceiling. and round. Inhale as you look up, and then exhale as you round. And then one more. Then take the knees back a bit, and we're doing a chest opener. So you're moving the shoulders down and then just look up. So you're opening the heart to the sky. So from your tabletop position, we're going to come all the way up onto the knees, and we're going to go into Ustrasana or camel pose. For a camel pose, it helps if you have a couple blocks on either side, if your back isn't used to bending that far backwards. Otherwise, you can reach one at a time for either the ankles or the tops of the feet. So I'm going to go for the tops of the feet. So you start with one hand, then the other. And you start to push the hips forward as the head comes back in line with the shoulders. You don't want the head falling too far back, and you don't want to crank it up. You're just keeping it in line with the rest of your spine. And then when you're ready, you can start to come over on one side and gently come all the way back up to a kneeling position. From here, we're going to cross, or let's go ahead and do a couple cat-cows first. So you're going to come forward, and then inhale as you look up. Exhale, round the spine. And then go ahead and cross the ankles and sit back. Okay, so we're going into Tadasana or butterfly pose now. So you're going to keep your feet together. The knees are splayed out to the side. You can initially start to bring the knees down naturally on their own as you hold on to the feet. And then you can flutter the knees. Then go ahead and grab the hips. We're going to rock, loosen up the hips. This is in preparation for Matsyasana, or the fish pose. Hi. So go ahead and take your arms out, inhale. And then as you exhale, you're keeping a flat back and you're extending forward, reaching over your baby. Yeah, and this is a good time to tickle and play. Hi. We're just going to hold for a few breaths. Then go ahead and take your arms back out. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. And then you can rock from side to side. So this preps us for fish pose if you're going to do either full lotus or half lotus. Half lotus is when you have one foot up on your thigh, and full lotus is when you have both. So from here, I'm going to give you a couple options. You can hold your baby and then come down into Matsyasana. If it's uncomfortable to do this for your knees, then you can always keep your legs straight. So you do have a few options here. So go ahead and lay down with the baby on your torso. And once you're all the way laying down, then you can start to prop yourself up onto your forearms. And then come to the top of your head and open up the chest. A lot of times we're hunched over when you're nursing and you're picking up your baby, so this is a good counter pose for all of that. You're opening the chest, opening the throat. And then when you're ready, you can untuck the head. So you lift up the head. Say hi to your baby. Go ahead and uncross the feet. And then hold the baby out in front of you so you can come all the way up. And this is almost the end of our session here. We're just going to do some ujjayi breaths with the baby. The baby loves to hear your heartbeat and the sound of your breath. And it's very calming. It's soothing for them as well as you. So you can hold the baby, do nice deep breaths. Try to breathe in and out through the nose unless you're a little bit stuffy. Then it's okay to breathe through the mouth, but that just elongates the breath. You can strike the back of the throat just slightly. Aww. She wants more action. Less calm. And then that's it for our Baby and Me yoga for the 4th trimester. If you like this video, I encourage you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And be sure to check out more videos on the YogaPlus by PsycheTruth app. Thank you. Namaste.
Introducing YogaPlus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. YogaPlus. Download now for free.